Welcome to the Strategic Skills series from Planning Express, a set of mini masterclasses teaching quick bite-sized strategic and insight skills. This 10-minute session is on one of our favourite idea generation techniques that anyone can do. We call it the Universal Connections Technique. The Universal Connections Technique is a way to think up more interesting ideas than those that might naturally come off the top of your head, and gives you braver ideas than you would get just using the data and facts about the task. You can do it silently in your head, in a meeting when someone asks for ideas, you can do it at your desk, at your leisure, or you can use it in a workshop where everybody is brainstorming together. It's so versatile and simple. You can use it if you've got just 2 minutes or if you've got 2 hours. You can scale it to any task. It can be used to come up with business and product ideas, brand propositions, advertising campaigns, in fact anything from big concepts to quick win tactics. It's based on a very well-known synectics technique that's used all over the world, and it works on the simple principle of finding a connection between two seemingly completely unrelated things. One is your subject matter and the other is a random object. In fact, the more random the better. There is a method to it and it's foolproof, so let's have a go. First, we articulate the problem to solve, and you may need to spend a second thinking about what that actually is. It may need a moment's thought to articulate it properly. For this exercise, I've picked a common business problem. Your company is merged with another, people aren't working well together, and you want 3 ideas to take to senior management for getting everyone to work better together and feel like one team. Okay, so it's a fairly simple thing. It's been clearly articulated and we know how many ideas we want, and it's actually quite important to know, do you want 20 ideas, do you want one thing? And here we've picked 3. So how do we go about coming up with ideas for this? Well, the second thing you do is pick your stimulus, the random object that you're going to use. This is a lateral thinking technique, so go for something completely abstract, but don't try too hard. It could be an object in the room, like a pen, a stapler, a phone, whatever. It could be something that you can see out of the window, like a tree, or a dog, or a car. It could be your favourite brand. It could be a hobby or an interest. It could just be the last film you saw. You will soon realise that it actually doesn't matter what it is. Next, we need a blank sheet of paper. Don't be tempted to use the corner of a page of your notepad or where you've got some doodles. We need a nice clean piece of paper with lots of space and no distractions. And on it, we're going to write the name of the object in the centre of the page. Now for my task, I'm going to use an easy one, an object in the room. I've just looked around and there's an indoor plant, a house plant. And the instructions are really clear. Write the name of the object in the middle of your page, draw a circle around it, and then spokes coming out of the circle, as many as you can. And at the end of every spoke, write any and all associations that come into your head when you think of that object. It could be what it does, what it's for, why people like it, what are its traits, what are its benefits. It can be anything you like. So I might write, it's green, they're usually green, they grow quite quickly, you have to water them, they can smell nice, they provide oxygen, I've heard that they take away toxins from the room, they might have flowers, people give them as gifts, anything at all. You just fill the page with all of those associations that you make with that object. Having written our associations with that object, we can now come up with ideas, and it's a simple instruction. Use one of these words or phrases to inspire an idea for your task. Write it, then move on. So I look around the page and I see water. Water is food for the indoor plant. So maybe an idea is each department or team hosts a breakfast or lunch in the office kitchen once a week, every Wednesday, and we get to know each other. Nice smells makes me think of other nice smells. Maybe a cookery course team building away day, the way people do. Gifts makes me think of Secret Santa, and maybe the twist here is that actually you've got to get to know your Secret Santa person that you're giving a gift for, work out what you've got in common so that you can find the perfect gift. So it makes us get to know each other. And then taking away the toxins makes me think of, let's work out what are the bad things that are going wrong here. So So maybe it's a meeting to discuss the key differences in the way the companies work and solve it together and how we can reconcile those different ways of working. So you can see what's happened here. We have taken our indoor plant and our associations with that, come up with different ideas in literally a couple of minutes. Let's have another go using a more marketing style task and another type of object. In fact, this is my favourite type of stimulus. Take this task. It's early December, a pet store client calls to say that the pre-Christmas sales are not on target. What quick tactics could the agency do to boost sales? So we have our task. What is our object? Well, remember the types of stimulus we've got. Objects in the room, something out of the window, favourite brands, hobbies, also some other ideas. You can literally grab a magazine, flick through it, go to a random page, pick a picture off a random page. We also, because we use this in workshops so much, we have toy bags and stimulus cards. With cards, we treat them like playing cards, fan them out as a deck and people pick a card, whether it's a brand, whether it's an object, whether it's a movie, whether it's a hero. With the toy bags, we hand out the red bags, people delve in, pick an object out and use that as their stimulus. For this exercise, I'm going to use my favourite, which is the movie cards. And the reason I like movies and use those as stimulus is there's lots of layers. There are characters, there are actors, there are plot and subplot, there's relationships and music, there's how it was promoted, there's the context in which it's set, the moral of the tale. And you can assign the films by handing out the cards, or you can ask people what's the last film that they saw or their favourite film. The only rule is they must know something about that film, otherwise they can't place anything outside the spokes. So we're going to use movie cards for this exercise. And for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to pick the film Jaws because it's a film from the 1970s and most people have seen it. And even if you haven't seen it, you can pretty much guess what it's all about. I think the picture says it all. So remember what we have to do. We write Jaws in the middle of the page, draw a circle, draw spokes coming out of the circle, and at the end of each of the spokes write any and all associations that we make with that film. And again, as I described before, it could be the plot, it could be where it's set, it could be what made it famous, anything at all. So I've written, it's a man versus nature kind of story, there are sharp teeth, it's an unpredictable animal. It's set in an idyllic beach location in Northeast America. It had really famous music. It was a Steven Spielberg film. I think it might even have been his first. It catapulted him to stardom. And then when it comes to the plot, I know this film quite well. It's about a police chief who had had a bit of a scare in the city and he goes to this quiet place because he can't do that violent job anymore, but he finds inner strength, for example. And then if you remember what happens at the end, 3 different sets of people have tried to get the shark, but actually they don't get it until they work together. So it's an unlikely 3 working together to win. So you can see what I've done here. There's some really obvious stuff here about sharp teeth. There's things about music, and there's things that are deeper within the plot. So what ideas can we come up with for our pet store? Well, let's take sharp teeth. An idea there using teeth, social media competition of best picture of your dog smiling, for example. The idyllic beach location, the idea could be, again, another social media competition, the best beach for dog walking. The famous music might be create a jingle, put it on the radio. For the police chief finds inner strength, thinking of inner makes me think of staff or people inside. So could be staff stories of the Christmas presents that they give their pets as inspiration for customers. And the unlikely 3 working together, who do we work with? The idea might be nominate your local dog walker or cat sitter and you both win presents from us. So you can see here what we've done in literally a minute. We've taken an abstract thought, which is a film, Jaws, and come up with ideas for a client. And you could just keep going again and again and again and come up with more and more ideas as part of a brainstorming session. As I said, it could be you alone, just sitting at your desk, and you go into a meeting with a couple of these ideas, or you could do it as a group setting where you're writing on a flip chart everybody's ideas that come out of this exercise. And in that situation, everybody in the room would be given a different film so that there's different stimulus and different ideas that are coming out. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a simple technique. It takes 2 minutes. Use it in a workshop, use it quietly at your desk 10 minutes before a meeting. You can do it over and over again, use the same task but different objects, and you'll get more and more ideas. And the first few may not be the best, but you will get there. And the more you do it and use this technique, the more nimble that your brain becomes. This is just one of our techniques for idea generation. Find out more by emailing me, liz@planningexpress.com, and look out for more mini masterclasses in our strategic skills series.